to the UK over 3 years ago, but I really never shared my story. I left Nigeria to the UK in 2021. That's over 3 years, going to the fourth year now, but I never shared my experience. Today, I'm going to take you back to the very beginning. Leaving one's country of birth to a totally different place is a very huge decision, and I feel like telling the story is going to be being very true to myself. I'm in the process of reinventing myself. At this point, I'm trying to weigh the things I've been doing and know where I'm heading to. I'm at that point, and I'm happy for you to go on this journey with me. But I've just been avoiding this topic for, I don't even know exactly why I have not really shared this topic. Maybe I just wasn't ready to share it, but right now I feel like this is really what I need to do. I need to go through this journey with you guys and with myself. I feel like in the process I'm going to be able to establish that reinvention, so I just want to go through that journey, and I believe that a lot of people will get value from it because you would get firsthand. I'm just going to be honest with my journey, no dramas, no BS. I'm just going straight on with it. So whether you're looking to move from your home country or your country of birth to wherever it is, or you're in a place where you're making a very difficult decision in life, this journey can inspire you. You can draw lessons from it, and you can decide if you want to do that based on the outcome of my journey. So attached to that I'm reinventing myself, I also want to take us on this journey of, can I get up to 4,000 watch hours in 30 days? I've been doing YouTube for pretty much a long time now, but to be honest with you, I've not really been consistent. If you go through my channel, you will see that I've quit a lot of times. I've tried to reinvent myself a lot of times, but this time around I'm just going to try to stick it out for 30 days. And if you want to find out if I am going to get to that journey of 4,000 hours in just 30 days, heads up, I have only 300 watch hours right now because I've lost all the watch hours I've built. It disappears according to years, so it's just updates over a year. So everything I've built for the past 2 years, I've lost it. So I have just 300 watch hours. So if you want to really find out what has she reinvented herself into, you want to just share my journey, my relocation journey, and how far I've come in these 3 whole years, or you just want to be part of this experiment to figure out, can anyone get 4,000 watch hours in just 30 days of putting in the work? Then let's do this. My name is Precious. You're welcome to my space. I am a nurse. I'm living here in the United Kingdom. I'm practicing here. I'm a mom of 2, married, currently on maternity leave. So on this space, we grow, we develop, and as I said, I am currently reinventing myself. So for now, we're on a journey of reinvention where we share lessons. I'm just going to be storytelling, reflecting on this 3 years journey because I feel like I really need it, and I need it for my next level of growth. So let's get right into the video. So my relocating journey actually started like a joke because I wasn't really one of those nurses that really studied nursing because they just wanted to travel abroad or anything like that. In as much as I knew that was a possibility, I wasn't really actively chasing about it because I had this mindset that, oh, a lot of money is involved and all that. But I met this very good friend of mine, and I mean, they are now family friends, and they walked me through this journey and made me, encourage me to go for it, and I did. So why did I leave my home country to the UK? To be able to see the world. I'm young, I'm just in my 20s. Why not, have opportunities, practices where I learn, develop, grow, raise my family, and give the best I can give to the society, and just make my life count. So that is why I left. Not like I can make my life count in my home country, but to be honest, I've seen that we have a lot. I'm coming from a place where we naturally have a lot, but unfortunately we don't have good leadership to get the best out of what we have. So I just decided that, okay, I'm gonna just take this shot. I am young enough, I am brilliant enough, yes, and I am professional enough to be able to have the opportunity. So why not take the opportunity? So I did. How did I feel about leaving? I mean, this was really a very difficult decision and mixed feelings for me, because I don't know if that's why I've really not told this story, because I am the first child of my parents, and I have three siblings. So I'm the first of four children, and there's so much that is attached to that in my culture. So leaving my family is a big deal. It's a very difficult situation. So it was mixed feelings. I remember when I told my parents about leaving, they were like, you know, it was mixed feelings for everybody. Everyone was happy that I was taking, this stride to this new journey to discover myself. But everyone was like, oh my God, when are we going to ever see her again? Is she going to be fine? What will you eat? How will you cope? Will that place be okay for you? Will you be accepted? A lot of things were going through our mind. It was like mixed feelings when I started the journey. On another video, I would share like the whole journey. I will keep sharing this journey. I'm going to be posting every day for the next 30 days. So subscribe and stick in for the whole day. So for now, I'm just reminiscing on how I felt. I think I was happy that the journey I started was now being fruitful when I got my job, and I got my visa, and it dawned on me that I was leaving. And I was also like sad because, see, not just my parents, I had to leave my husband behind. That is a story of another day, because I have to first come and get some like accommodation and things sorted out before he would move. Both of us can just arrive at Heathrow, and so someone had to go first and set things, at pace before he came. Luckily for me, as at then, we didn't have children yet, so that part wasn't part of the journey or part of the struggle, but it was pretty hard. I mean, it was a very hard decision. I mean, I don't regret it, but it was really, really hard. So I remember having to travel to my parents with my husband to say, oh, we are leaving for Abuja, because I flew from Abuja, and I remember crying all the way through in the vehicle. When we were going home, I was crying. My husband was like, why are you crying? And then news got to me later that my mom cried and cried and cried for a whole week. Yeah. Nigerians, we are very big on family. We are like that. We are used to sticking together, building communities, and like family is actually like a very big thing for us. So yeah, it was very hard decision. My hardest goodbyes were my family, my mom, my dad, my siblings. I don't even want to talk about my husband because I cried all the way in the flight. The goodbyes were hard. I mean, my church family, my work family, my friends, everything. It was not easy at all. It was not easy, but I did it anyways. Have you ever made a life-changing decision like me? Let me know in the comments. I mean, how did it, or have you even been on this journey? Have you left your home country to another country? Do you relate to what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments how you felt and what were your initial feelings when it dawned on you that you were making that big change in your life. It's a very funny story. By the time I took my local flight to Abuja, my visa was not yet out, but I knew it was going to come out the next day, and I had to travel a day before after it comes out, and I paid for priority. So it was very funny because I didn't even know if my visa was going to be successful, and I was saying goodbyes and packing my bags and moving to a different state to fly. So it was a journey filled with faith, because to be honest, I am someone that is very big on God, and I felt like at that moment that God has assured me that that was my journey for that moment. So I just kind of had a blind trust in God. And this might not work for everyone, but I've had dealings with him in past that made me sure that it was God and I was following his leading. So I had my peace was intact, so I just carried on through it. So from the airport, I cried because my husband saw me off, and I was like, we got married that April. So I traveled in 1st December 2021, and I got married in April 24th 2021. So it was barely months. I mean, why am I leaving my husband? Where am I going? So yeah, it was really difficult. So I cried throughout my boarding, my checking in, everything. And to make matters worse, they didn't even allow my husband to follow me to the check area, and it was just annoying. So I got on a plane. I flew. I don't even want to talk about the flight because that was my first long flight. So guys, I said I'm going to be honest in this journey, and I am going to literally be honest. So that was my first long flight. I've never flown my in short, actually this traveling was the first time I flew. I've flown local back home in Nigeria, but I've never left my country. So that was the first time I was on air for 6 hours. I was exhausted, I was scared, I was excited. A lot of things were going through my mind. Oh my god, are we safe here? Being up in the air for 6 hours, what's going on? What's my husband doing now? What's my mom doing? Will I see them again? This place I'm going to, I don't know anyone there. How am I going to cope? Will I be fine? Will I even, a lot was going through my mind mid-air. I'm gonna share this funny gist. So I didn't know that the food and the plane was part of my flight ticket. So I'm very grateful for another, elderly man from home that was sitting in the same flight with me, and he was like, "Why are you not eating?" I'm like, "I don't think I would be able to afford those." And he didn't make fun of me for not knowing that. He just taught me and educated me that no, I've already paid for my food, is included in the flight ticket. And I was like, are you serious? And he was able to point out things that I could try that are I would be able to manage, from his experience, from obviously being in Nigeria, and some juices and some water and then tea, and I was able to have something to eat, even though I couldn't eat much because I was so nervous and anxious. But having that elderly man, I think he's about the age of my dad, so it was like a kind of reassurance. So I'm also grateful for that provision. I felt like God also made that available to help me ease, because I don't know if I would have had a panic attack mid-air, because I was I was too excited and I was too anxious. So imagine when you're at the climax of two different emotions. I think I was a wreck. So yeah, mid-air I had a lot of thoughts bumping through my head. What if the job was not real? What if these mails were just random mails? A lot of things were going through my mind, like, Precious, are you okay? You just packed off bag, left your country. Oh my god, it was I really needed to tell this story because I think it's very refreshing. So I landed at Heathrow at about 4:20 on the 1st of December 2021, and to my utmost surprise, it was dark. Initially, I thought it was because we were in the airport, so I was like, oh, maybe because of the coverings, the airport is probably covered, and I wasn't really reading meaning into it. First of all, before we get to the weather, it was actually cold. Like, why is this plane so cold? Why is it so cold? The airport itself was warm, so I hadn't met with that reality yet until I passed through the boarding check, went to look for my bag. I've not got my baggage, and then the problem was now in contacting my taxi driver, because of course I don't have a UK line and things like that. So but I was able to connect to the airport Wi-Fi, and the driver was able to reach me on WhatsApp. So he told me where to wait for him and all that. So I waited for him, and I saw the driver holding out, a plaque saying my name, and I knew he was looking for me, and I knew that no other person knew I was coming to the UK, so I knew I was safe, and they've already sent me his name, his car details and everything, so I knew who he was, and I knew that he came to pick me. So I went with him, and lo and behold, as we just stepped out of the door of the airport, guess what? Guys, I ran back. I literally ran back, because what in the name of cold is this? It was so cold. Remember, it's December. That means I came midwinter. It was so cold. I was wearing my winter jacket. I was trying to find my pictures because I don't even know where they are. I was trying to find them. So it was so cold. The driver was like, oh no, don't worry, I'll turn the heating on for you and everything. And so he just told me to stay in the airport. He brought his car around so I don't have to walk a long while in the cold, and then he turned his heating very on, but he had to turn his own mirror side down because he felt so hot. And I was like, well, how are you hot? So that was just my first impression. It was dark and I was scared. Why is it dark by 4 p.m.? And it was freezing, freezing cold. But when it comes to aesthetics, Heathrow doesn't look bad, but I mean, it was just there for me. Like, it was nice, that feeling of, oh, I'm finally in UK. I was excited, but I didn't like wander around the airport, so I didn't even see all the beautiful places in Heathrow because I was just so focused at looking for my luggage, finding my driver, where am I going, I don't want to get lost. So I didn't really appreciate that environmental change at that initial point because I was really worried and focused on finding where I was going to. So that was my first experience. I was shocked at the level of cold. I was shocked at the level of darkness at the time. Why is it black, stark black at 4 p.m.? So, but I was like, I'm finally here. And yeah, that was just how I felt when I arrived. I was happy anyway. I actually was happy that I was safe. For people, I mean, everyone minds their business, but to me, people were generally nice to me when I asked questions at the airport. No one was snobbing me, or everyone was helpful and giving directions. So I wasn't getting really any big shock with my relationship with people. As I was sat in the taxi heading to, where I was going to, another shock was I thought that, oh, taxi to the home is just about minutes drive. I didn't know I was in for hours of drive. I was like, where are we going? 4, 5, 6, we're still driving. I mean, I thought they said, this place was close to London. I didn't know that the airport itself was quite a distance from London city itself, and I was heading to Kent, and that was another journey. And because we were out by that time, which was a very like traffic congested time, it also impacted my travel time. So I was like, why am I still on the way by this time? So I couldn't reach my parents because I myself, I have not had any like Wi-Fi on my phone because I've left the airports and all that. But I found that they could call me. They could call me, but I couldn't call them. So I think immediately I landed in the airport, I was struggling to try to call them, but my husband's call came right through. And so I think he called them and let them know that I've landed, and everyone now started trying to call me. At the point the calls were not going through, I wasn't hearing them and everything like that. I had to tell them the driver told me to just tell them to relax, that when I get settled I would connect to Wi-Fi, and then would be able to talk. That was another shock because back home, what is Wi-Fi? We buy data. We just buy data. I mean, except if you are a $10 child, you know what I mean, if you're Nigerian. But we just buy data. So that was another shock, that Wi-Fi was like, established in buildings and everyone has access to it. It wasn't like that in my home country for the random, normal people. So only Wi-Fi was like a big deal. We just buy data in megabytes and gigabytes. So I was like, oh, Wi-Fi. And okay, so I arrived at my place. Luckily for me, I am part of a cohort. That means that I was not just coming to work for these people alone, right? I have some of my friends that had gone before me. Luckily for me, they were already in the apartment, that I was heading to, even though I didn't know how to reach them because I couldn't call them directly. But the driver was kind enough to give me his phone to call one of them and let them know that I had arrived, because I was out in the cold. And I now understand that the driver was not being mean, because he just dropped me off and went. That was his job. That was what he was paid to do. So, excuse me. So I called them, and then they had to start looking for the apartment manager to come and let me in. So I stood out in the freezing cold for about 30 minutes and I almost died. I mean, coming from a country that as hot as 30 degrees, 20 degrees, and I was coming to minus, and I was just out there. And the winter jackets you get in Nigeria, or I mean the ones I got, were not like good enough. They were just there. I mean, I didn't feel warm, so I was really, really freezing. So, but I was grateful, and I mean, I was just cold, but I still felt grateful. I still felt accomplished. And so apart from the code and the food, I must say this in this video, the first struggle I had in the UK on my first day of arrival was learning how to use Google Map. Why do I need Google Map in Nigeria? I know where I'm going to, you know, this is my place, but Google Map is a big deal in the UK. You just have to know how to use it. So that was my first struggle. I'm gonna be sharing in my next video like my first few weeks in the UK, what it was like. I'm just gonna be going out and be sharing a whole lot of journey with you. So if you want to like see where the story is heading to, click on that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, like, and if you have anyone that is on this journey pathway or going through a big change in life, or someone that you just want to share this moment with, please share and be part of this journey as I reminisce and share my lessons and what I've learned and experienced with you for the past 3 years in the UK. What are the things you would like to know about moving to the UK? Let me know in the comments section. My next video would be about my first few weeks in the UK, my culture shock, reality versus expectations, and I'll just continue the journey from there. I'm going to be posting daily for the next 30 days. So stick to this one and let's go through this journey together. Bye-bye.